I think this is where Johnathan lives. I think Johnathan lives here. If I lost 30 XP on the boss, yeah, that's fine. We'll lose XP on the boss. Yeah, he's ruthless, for sure. Oh, I didn't even realize that was Johnathan! F. Well. I didn't realize that was Johnathan right there. Oh, cheese him in the corner. Cheese him in the corner. Get wrecked, Johnathan. Oh, no. Oh, no, he came out of the corner. Oh, F. Johnathan. No, no, Johnathan. Please. Let's go. Got Johnathan. We got Johnathan, boys. Alright, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, we have found ourselves at the end of the first week of Season 3 for Project Diablo 2's third season, Dominance. Domination? Damnation. Ding Dong Ditch. I forget what the name of it is, I'll be honest with you. It's the third season of Project Diablo 2, and we are at the end of the first week on our Nova Sorceress. So there have been a lot of changes to our gear, a lot of changes to our power scale, and if you notice, a very particular aura circulating on our mercenary, since we were able to buy ourselves into an infinity, using the currency that we got from our Leap Barb, farming Ubers and doing Uber service. What I'm going to include in this video, again, is just like a skill breakdown, stat breakdown, overall experience. We just finished a 28-minute game where we did, in one sitting, Chaos Sanctuary, Arcane Sanctuary, fully cleared, every single key boss, Nilithak, Blood Witch, Blood Raven, the Countess, Izzy, all of them. We did a full Cal run. We finished the Mausoleum. We did the Travancore. We killed Mephisto and council members around him. We farmed every single thing that you would normally farm. Eldritch, Pindle, Shank, all of it. As well as just stopping and killing any packs of monsters that we found along the way. Because at this point, with Static and Affinity, there's no pack that we can't kill, or at least kill every minion, and then our mercenary very quickly finishes off the boss of the pack. Now, just in this one game, from our total drops of all the good things that we dropped, including massive amounts of crafting materials and jewels and gems and rings, we got ourselves a pair of Trine gloves, a pair of war travs that we slammed with gold find, Aldur's boots, a 6 large charm max damage with cold, a 9/11 max damage GC, FCR rings, a full set of keys, tons of money, as well as other items that are all just kind of in the stash now. Good pickup items. As far as the Nova Sorceress, one of the things that we've been having a little bit of trouble with is playing the Nova Sorceress how she's meant to play in my mind, which is as a telestomp, elite sniping, almost single target killing machine because of the raw speed of the 120 breakpoint along with the speed of Nova itself. And the thing that we were missing was the ability to reduce resistances down to the point or have enough pierce to actually put monsters into hit recovery and not immediately get one-tapped when we telestomp. So let's take a look at where our gear is now, where our mercenary is now, and what our damage looks like. On the primary kit, and I would call this our Magic Find setup, mostly for every boss we're going to be swapping to an Alibaba's on swap with a 58 Magic Find Millibregas. This is our 3 15 9 Ashudas, a Shaco that rolled 40 Magic Find, as well as 4 PDR that we socketed with a Topaz. We have a 2 to Lightning Skills huge all-res amulet. We're using Skin of the Viper Magi that's slammed with faster run walk. Chances, a gold wrap that's slammed with additional Magic Find, so this is a 60 Magic Find gold wrap. 10 FCR with Tri-Res, and 10 FCR with 13 all-res with a 4 attribute slam from Average Boss. Thank you very much, Average Boss. And then we're using Rites of Passage for Cannot Be Frozen. Down on the bottom we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Lightning Skillers, along with our 2 54-18 Sorceress Torch. This was our second Sorceress Torch that we farmed, as well as a combination of Resistance, Life, and Magic Find in the small charms. The Mercenary, right now, if I could find him, the Mercenary is using an Eth Thresher Infinity, along with a Steel Skull for the Dual Leech, as well as having a Max Cold and additional Cold Res Slam on it, He's using a Lion Heart, Laying of Hands, Saigons for Resin Life, and then Goblin Toes for damage and Crushing Blow. Our Thunderstorm on our primary swap is doing 2,000 to 5,000 damage whenever it procs. Our Nova is doing 400 to 5,500 damage, and our Telekinesis is doing up to 13,000 damage. Remember that Telekinesis is your best option for single target spamming when you're fighting bosses. And our resistances are pretty good, so we're maxed out on Cold Res. We have decently high Fire Res and decently high Lightning Res. And I would say the only thing that's really causing us any problems right now is just when we get whapped, we really don't have a lot of PDR or max life. So if we jump into a pack, we get amped, they're extra strong or anything like that, it can definitely get a little bit tricky. Luckily, the Mercenary takes a lot of the aggro off from when we're fighting, and we're able to move out of the way, again, taking that half second to cast Static, and then ripping into them with Nova, which is putting them into hit recovery, which is your real survivability on this build. Some of the things that I've thought about for the build, and I'll go over where the skills are right now and where I think we should change these over to. With our current setup, we have plus 17 to skills. We have a single point in Warmth just for some mana regen, since our Mercenary is using Infinity. We don't have a lot of great sources of regenerate mana at this point, so this helps out a little bit. We've maxed Charge Bolt, Telekinesis, Nova, and Lightning Mastery. We have 1 point Teleport, 1 point Static Field, and then we've done our dump points into Thunderstorm. Now, I've looked at this build, I've played the build a lot, and I can tell you the moment that we take Infinity off, you start to feel very weak, very vulnerable, and you have to swap out a lot of your gear for survivability. So PDR, max life, you need more regen mana, and you need more points in Static. Or you can run an Act 3 Static Mercenary, but their Static doesn't break nearly as strongly as Conviction Aura would, which is to be expected. So when we're swapped over to our Magic Find on swap, we're actually sitting at 327 Magic Find. When we're on our primary kit, we're at the 117 breakpoint, which means that we're also at the 105 breakpoint for overall casting. And we are only sitting on around 13 damage reduction, but we have 497 elemental resistance with 9 pierce. Now, how do you run this build without having to completely hamstring your plus to skills and still get that survivability? A lot of that comes down to having Energy Shield. Now, the issue with having Energy Shield is that this build is so point hungry that putting 1 point into it almost seems like it takes too much, since you need to drop 2 points to get Chain Lightning and Energy Shield. I really think that the best way to build this at this point is actually to forego Thunderstorm almost altogether, get your 1 point into Energy Shield, use a Memory Stick on swap, even if it just means at the beginning of the run, you pop Memory on, cast your Energy Shield, and then pop it back off. And then I would highly recommend actually maxing out Static Field, and then once that's done, putting the rest of your dump points into Thunderstorm. Even with the Infinity Merc as it stands right now, I actually think I'm going to respec into A, being able to have at least 1 point Energy Shield even without Memory, just to be able to cast it, and B, max out Static Field. I think overall this would be your best bet for just maximizing DPS and also reducing kill time on bosses and making it so that when you hit particularly difficult or difficult to break packs, you have the strongest options available to you. So rather than just bore you and just sit here and do the gear review, I'm also going to include clips from every single place that we farmed, just so you can get an idea of how smooth the farming is, even in more dangerous places like the extra council members in Mephisto's Lair, Endurance of Hate level 3, as well as the actual Travancore, which I was pretty sure was going to put up a huge fight, and it turned out, after repositioning once or twice, we just tore them apart. There are a couple other places, like the minions around Bloodraven have high lightning res, so you don't just immediately pop them, so you have to maneuver a little bit to fight there. And then some cow packs can just spawn pretty strong. They have decent lightning res, so they're able to withstand your Novas for a little bit longer, especially if they have a good combination of elite affixes on the actual unique boss packs that you encounter. But other than that, it's like, it's just really strong now. It's actually really strong now. The moment that you move into Infinity, the Sorceress on Nova just jumps to a different echelon of power, survivability, and kill speed. If I were to go back and do this all again and give a recommendation, I would have started my progression on something like Combustion, which is just easy to get plus skills on early game, or Blizzard, which is just very powerful right now. And then once I was able to get currency and transition into having an infinity, then looking to move into Nova. But if you're still trying to be on Nova in the early game, try to get into Energy Shield earlier, specifically with something on swap so you don't have to put points into it. I would forego Thunderstorm. I don't think it does enough. I think this is more like a 1 point added DPS bonus as opposed to something to actually sink points into. And I would max out Static Field before I move my dump points into Thunderstorm. And I think that's going to give you your best combination of Pierce as well as kill speed and survivability. I hope that this helps you out. I hope that you're excited for Season 3. I quite frankly think that this is the best season of Project Diablo 2 thus far, especially on something like the Nova Sorceress, where you can actually be competitive as long as you're playing smart and making good itemization decisions. If you're playing the Nova Sorc and you're running into issues, or if you're having a great time, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what your feedback is, or if you really think that there are just strictly better builds that would have been a better use of gear, time, progression, management, all of that. And I hope to see you all in the next video.